So let's go to our journal entry on page number 326. Are we going to debit or credit accounts receivable? What's that? We're going to debit. Okay, so in the account number column, write 220. In the account name column, write accounts receivable. And then in the debit column, write $1,088. Okay? Now, every one of these entries is going to balance. They have to, right? So, the other side of this entry is going to be to account number 500. So, right on the next line down, put account 500. The title of the account is rather long. Adjust cash, and you can abbreviate. Adjust cash to accrual sales. And it's going to be $1,088. Okay? Now, the next thing we have to do is create a balance for accounts payable. So we have a similar system in our organizer for accounts payable. Every time Sonja gets in a bill, we've instructed her to just drop it in one of these alphabetical files, because she's just like all of us. Do we pay our bills every single day? No, we typically have a cubby hole or a shelf or someplace, and we gather them. And then on payday or once a week, we'll sit down and pay our bills, right? Sonja does it the same way. Now, if that day happens to fall on the last day of the month and all the bills are due by then she would pay all the bills and this file, all these files would be empty. But that happens very rarely, and oftentimes from vendors she gets 60-day terms or 90-day terms, so she doesn't have to pay it for 90 days. So should she pay it right away? No. Wait for 90 days. So what she does is when she sits down once a week to write her checks, she just goes through each file, pulls out whichever bill she's going to pay that day, leaves all the rest in here. Okay? She writes checks, and she drops the paid bill back here and here in a paid accounts payable. So at the end of the month, we have a bunch of bills that she hasn't paid in here, right? Have we recorded these bills anywhere? Do we need to? If we're going to go to accrual, we do. Now, all we did is we took that calculator in, and for every bill, we just added it up. Now, some of the bills might have been advertising, some of them might be product that we bought, some of them are for utilities, some of them are telephone, all different items. But for reasons that we'll explain in a moment, we're just going to add it all up as one number, okay? And it came to $3,642. So, $3,542. Thank you. So, is that going to be a debit or a credit to accounts payable? It's going to be a credit to accounts payable, right? So in the account number column, it's account number 300. The description is accounts payable. In the credit column, we're going to be crediting it for $3,542. Okay, the debit is going to go to a new account. It's account number 700. Adjust cost, cash to accrual. And long title. Okay? And that entry's done. Last one, what third account do we have to create? Inventory. Now, in order to do that, Sonja has to provide us with an inventory number. And we're going to ask her to take an inventory every month to be able to use this, or else she's going to have to give us her best guess. That may be easy, that might be difficult. It just depends upon the business that we're working with. In this particular case, it's probably not too difficult. It may take 15 or 20 minutes to come up with an inventory balance, which she does. And that inventory balance is $1,060. Okay? Now, when we bought product, where did we charge that product to? In cost of sales, account number 600, right? We're not going to credit account number 600, but I wanted you to recognize that we didn't put it on the balance sheet. We didn't put it in the current assets section. We put it into cost of sales. So now we need to create that inventory balance. Are we going to debit or credit inventory? We're going to debit it, aren't we? So account number is 230. Account title is inventory, and we're going to debit inventory for $1,060. Now the offset is going to go to that account number 700, adjust costs and expenses, cash to accrual. Okay, or adjust costs, cash to accrual. Does our general journal balance? Okay. What I want you to do now is I want you to take those 6 lines and I want you to post them to the general ledger first. So you'll go back and post those first. We always go back to the general ledger and arrive at the balances. Now, none of the existing accounts are going to be impacted. None of the accounts that had a balance are going to be impacted by these 6 entries. The only accounts that were impacted were those cash to accrual conversion accounts. And so you're going to come up with a balance for each of those and transfer those into the financial statement shown on page number 327. Identify that financial statement as the accrual method. Okay? So use the accrual method on those financial statements and then retotal and balance the financial statements. And then you're done. Okay?